Hello and welcome to the Shoot Off. I'm Bernardo Oliveira, Olympic archer from Brazil, and I'm super excited to be launching this project, the very first episode of the Shoot Off Archery podcast. Every 2 weeks, I'll be bringing you one-on-one, in-depth conversations with some of the biggest names in our sport. We'll have insightful conversations with loads of information that will help you with your archery, and also relaxed chats just bringing you funny, interesting, and behind-the-scenes stories from your favorite archers. The focus will be mostly target archery, but nothing stops us from talking about other disciplines from time to time as well. Also, do you want to have your message featured on the show? If you have any questions or any topic you'd like some insight into or help with, or simply something cool you'd like to share, feel free to reach me out. The show's email address, YouTube, Instagram, and X profiles all can be found in the episode's description. I want to bring you useful information, and I hope to help you somehow. For the very first episode, we have a very special guest. Tokyo 2020 mixed team silver medalist Gaby Schloesser from the Netherlands. Well, some of you might know that she is originally from Mexico, but moved to the Netherlands, and in fact her first appearance at the Olympic Games was representing Mexico back in Rio 2016, and I was there as well. And without further delay, and by this I mean there was a huge delay already to be launching this first episode, and I apologize for that. This was supposed to have been launched back in January, but so many things have been going on, and just everything that takes to just prepare, edit, and launch this took much longer than I initially planned, and besides just so many things going on. But okay, enough of apologizing, enough of a delay. Let's get into our chat. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Well, all right, Gaby Schloesser, thank you so much for accepting the invitation, and welcome to the very first episode of the Shoot Off Archery podcast. Thanks a lot.
Hola, hola. Super happy to be here. Super happy to be the first person that you invited. Like, we have a really long friendship. I think that we know each other from like 2015, 2016, something like that. So it's been some time.
Yeah, it's an honor to have such a great archer as yourself here, and also a friend, as you said. And how's it going lately? Your last competition was the Taipei Indoor World Series, and how do you see that? Going into the Olympic year 2024, last few months before the games. How is all of that?
Well, life has been good. Taipei went pretty good. I feel like I shot pretty good. The level was way better compared to last year. Last year I had the chance to win it, and obviously this year I was going there with the same expectation and stuff like that. This year has been a little bit difficult for me, so I was a little bit insecure, and I think that didn't help me that much. I ended up 9th, but it was pretty good. I feel like this moment, when the outdoor season finishes and the indoor season starts and all the competitions start, can give you a really good moment to reset and think, play more in your mental game, because you've been we travel so much for competitions and we do so much for competitions that sometimes you're just overwhelmed, and this is a moment to reset, that your body gets a little bit more energy, shoot a little bit more arrows and all that stuff. So I feel even though this year has been a little bit difficult, that I still have a pretty good chance to go to the games.
Definitely. And it's really cool what you said about, being able to reset and everything, because in the Olympic year, pretty much all the action is compressed into the first semester. So everything will happen before Paris, and then after there is nothing. So it's going to be very intense 6 months until then. And how is Olympic qualification looking for yourself? How do you see it? The ways you see ahead of yourself to qualify for the games?
Well, kind of funny, my story right now is way different than 3 years ago. I had 3 years ago when Tokyo happened, or 5 years ago, but because qualifying was in 2019. But then we had all that year that we're not gonna talk about, and that we all forgot. And then we had the Olympics in 2021. But in 2019, I was kind of on my own. I just moved here. I just like was competing in European tournaments and stuff like that. Found out the European level is pretty high, and like I need to work hard to get a spot at the Olympics, and I got it individually. But like now, since I moved here, we started working in a women's program. Things are a little bit different now. Like a couple months ago in Berlin, we had the chance to shoot for, me and my team, we had the chance to shoot for the quota places. We didn't get it, but we were really, really close to get it. So I don't know, I feel like it's going to be interesting. I feel like this team is full with people that really wants to work hard and really wants to get to Olympics. Like that's like the goal of a lot of archers right now, no? Like especially on the recurve side.
Yeah, and so many interesting things in what you said, and I want to break it into little pieces. So let's go back, first things first from the beginning. I guess the people who don't know you really well, or who don't know you as long as I have known you, probably they don't know that you competed at the Olympics for Mexico. You are originally from Mexico. We were both together at the Olympics in 2016 in Rio, and in Tokyo 2020, you shot for the Netherlands. So I wanted to talk about how was this move, from Mexico to the Netherlands? Like, how was it to adapt to a new national team, a different environment? Like you said, the European competitions felt different, and also how was this? Like, it's such a big move.
Super funny. Like, I'm super proud to be Mexican. I still I was talking with Mike about it a couple days ago. I now hold double passport. I'm Dutch and Mexican, but I would always say I'm Mexican, and he was like, I would like you to say that you're Dutch, but I'm kind of haha, I'm 99% Mexican, 1% Dutch. Super funny. So Mike and I met in 2016, a little bit before the Olympic Games. We fell in love. It's kind of funny. We met in a competition in Mexico. He was hanging out with some friends, and I was hanging out with same friends. And I don't know if you were there. No, you weren't there, right?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, it was versus. It's a competition that they used to do a couple weeks before the World Archery season started. So you would get prepared a little bit with good weather and all this stuff. So we met there. I go to the Olympics. I was preparing for the Olympics back then, 2016. I go there then. So for the Olympics, you prepare super, super intense, right? So you I was the whole time training. I woke up and it was training in the morning, training in the afternoon, training in the evening. It was super intense. So after the games, Mike and I start traveling and doing fun things, because the whole year was super charged with competition. So it was kind of difficult to get some. We would see each other competitions, but I was so focused in the Olympics that after the Olympics took a break, and I would come to Europe and he would go to Mexico, and it was traveling back and forward, and it was a little bit difficult. Though we were 20 a lot. No, I'm kidding. We were 22, something like that, 23. And that was 7 years ago. Mike and I, we've been together for 7 years. So at some point we were kind of you know what, we are a stable relationship with an unstable way of living, So we decided to move somewhere, and I need to say, for me, I really like it here. It's super safe for women. In Mexico, we have a little bit of problems with safety and stuff like that. So for me, I really like it here from the beginning, because it was kind of a safe place and with a nice environment and all that stuff. And he liked it there, but I think that he likes it better here. So we decided to move. In the beginning, I asked the Mexican Federation if I could live here and shoot for Mexico, and they were kind of well, you have a compromise here. If you don't want to, if you want to be in the team, you kind of need to be training together with the team. So what I was I've been putting archery, or I put archery always first, So I was really in love, and I was kind of I want to give it a shot. And we decided to come here. I talked to Ron van der Hoof, who's the coach, the former coach from the Dutch team. And he was super happy to welcome me. Yeah, the first year, if you want to change teams, you're not allowed to shoot competitions and stuff like that. So it was a little bit difficult to, Mike would travel and all this stuff, and I would stay here, and I would train and do stuff alone. But super weird, because you normally come here here on vacation and you're like always together with your person and doing all this stuff, and like then you move countries, you also move countries, so you know what it means. Like living in another country is not for everyone. It's not easy. There's a lot of moments when you're alone and all this stuff. So it was a little bit complicated in the beginning, and I need to say, like, still nowadays sometimes you can be feeling, or I feel lonely and stuff like that. But like at that point, I was kind of like, okay, just be patient. Next year, like, you can shoot on other competitions. Next year will be better and all that stuff. And in 2018, I joined the Dutch team. Started in a World Cup in Salt Lake City, which I shot really, really well. I made the finals, got fourth. And then, like, I started, that was 2018. To be honest, in 2019, I didn't have the expectation to qualify for the Olympic Games because, like, I was, like, recently in a new team, and, like, there's, like, different dynamics and different ways of, I don't know, working and all this stuff, and like the work filter here is like way different than in Mexico. So for me in the beginning it was kind of complicated, but like it ended up working for me, and it's been fun. It's been a ride. It's pretty cool. I've been enjoying it.
Oh, that's really fascinating, everything you've said, and I can totally understand and relate to what you said. Me coming from Brazil, a similar reality to Mexico, and now I'm living in France. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one, struggling a little bit, feeling a little bit lonely. And yeah, it's interesting, this shock of reality of like you were there for vacations, for enjoying, and then it's reality struck. But would you say that the most successful part of your career was in the Netherlands? Like it's been a good move. Would you say that?
I would say that. Like, I feel like, for example, in Mexico, there's like all the archers are really good and they are all really, really competitive. And I feel like I got that part. For example, when I moved here, I didn't only become a better archer, I became an adult, so I feel like I understood what responsibilities were. I understood what, like, that if I want to train or if I don't want to train is my own problem, because I'm the only one that is responsible for that. And I feel like it's been good. Like, the good things have been really good and the bad things have been really bad. No, I'm kidding. No, but like I feel like I've been a little more successful than before. But I also think that is thanks to Mikey and the approach that we can have to the sport. And for example, I remember that in 2016, when I just started like my relationship with Mikey, I wanted to be better because he was like number one in the world, So I wanted to show him that I was also like, that I also had some quality and stuff like that. So I feel like it's not only like that I moved here, but that I gave the sport another approach.
Super cool. And well, if by this point, if somebody doesn't know who Mike is, Gaby, of course, is married to compound legend Mike Schloesser from the Netherlands. You still go by Gabriela Bayardo, how it was in Mexico, but now added the Schloesser. And it's really cool. And this leads to my next question, something I was really curious about. Like when you said that you had to become an adult, like if you didn't want to train, nobody would be checking on you. Like you didn't have that rigid national team structure, kind of like, Gaby, it's time to train and everything. So I'm supposing that this is his approach, so you guys just have to be super disciplined. And I wanted to ask you about how's your routine? Like, does he help you? You help him? I've seen you shooting some compound. Like, how is your guys' routine?
It is kind of funny. We don't really have a routine. With Mikey, is like, if he feels good, he shoots a lot of arrows. If he feels that it has been enough, he just stops with the training, Like, I feel like he's someone that can understand his body and stuff like that. I'm not someone like that. I feel like sometimes, for example, he's kind of like, oh, today I'm not feeling like training. And then I'm like, oh, but I want to go train. he's kind of like, okay, I'll join you, you know. But it's kind of funny how it works. I feel like in the winter we have a better routine than in the summer. In the summer it's kind of like we kind of do, because I'm a recurve archer or whatever, I train kind of in the morning and in the afternoon. I also need to go 2 times a week to the training center in another city here in the Netherlands. Mike doesn't need to do that because he's a compound archer and they have a different program. And we kind of train together. He helps me a lot. I try to help him, but I think that like he helps me more than what I help him. But yeah, like I don't think the routine is like something, our routine is something that we have. I feel like it's more like when we feel like it or when he feels like it or whatever. I also feel like, for example, I'm someone that needs to have a little bit more structure because of how I learned archery in Mexico, you know, like I'm someone that kind of likes to shoot a little in the morning and shoot a little in the afternoon, and he would join me in the morning session or the afternoon session. So it is a little bit like that. It's all mixed, to be honest.
And from you shooting compound yourself, but also talking to him, who is, you know, one of the best archers ever, you know, it's no coincidence that he goes by the nickname Mr. Perfect. What do you think you can like correlate or translate from compound archery to recurve and vice versa? How do you see them, you know, talking to each other, let's say?
It's kind of funny, like I feel like my style of shooting changed a little bit from when I was in Mexico and now that I'm here. When I was in Mexico, it would be like really, I would shoot a lot of volume, so my shot would be like really smooth and really fast, you know. And now I feel like I learned how to aim a little bit more. I learned how to, for example, I don't know, some recurve archers have problems aiming in the middle and stuff like that. But there's no better place than aiming in the middle, you know, that I learned from Mikey and from his compound approach. I also feel like compound archers, they care a lot about how their equipment is, if it's like, if I don't know, if like the timing is right, if the string is good, how they put their hand when they like shoot or whatever. I feel like I also learned a lot about like equipment or a lot of equipment related things just because of the fact, or I learned how to take care of my stuff better, just because of the fact that like that's really important. And us as recurve archers, we don't take sometimes time to tune our bows in the correct way or like have our equipment 100% good or whatever. So I feel like that's the approach I could like take from compound archery. I don't know, like I feel like there's a lot of things in my mind and I couldn't, like I cannot explain to you 100% what I want to say, just because there's so many things compound related that can help recurve.
I bet the list must be endless, right? Like every day you come up and you find something new that, you know, oh, you know, like this correlates and everything. But still talking about compound, just wanted to know as well, how did you take the news that compound is not going to be, very likely not going to be in LA? And do you think it's a good idea, the project, you know, of having compound in the Olympics shooting indoors?
Kind of funny though, like I feel like I have a lot of more compound archers and recurve archers just because of the fact that like compound archers, you would see them in a lot of competitions, so you would see them in, I don't know, I think that also because of Mikey, I have a lot of relationships with compound archers.
You mean now you have more compound archer friends?
I think so, yeah. I think I have like more contact with compound archers and recurve archers, and maybe not, but like it feels like that sometimes. And it's kind of funny, like I feel like there's like a 50-50, you know, like there were a lot of compound archers that were like really happy that like compound was gonna be at the Olympics. And there was like another group that was kind of like, it doesn't matter if compound is in the Olympics or not because we're professional enough to like keep doing what we're doing and all that stuff. So I feel like kind of sad. Like I feel like archery, doesn't matter if it's compound, recurve, barebow, it's a sport that is for everyone. I think that it's a sport that where you can see like 15-year-old kids and 50-year-old adults practicing. And it's a sport for everyone, so it would be nice to see in television something that is kind of like for everyone, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's kind of sad, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure it will get there at some point, maybe, I don't know, in 10 years, or like when is LA? In
Brisbane 32.
maybe in 32 we'll be there or something like that. But I don't know, like I wasn't that worried about it, kind of sad. Mikey was kind of like, I don't know if I want to follow a program, I don't know, like it would be kind of cool, but like at the same time, he has contact with what being in an Olympic team is, and like having me in his life, he knows what the compromise that it takes to be at the Olympics and all that stuff, and I feel like it's kind of double. I feel like it's kind of like he likes his life right now, but like being in a program like his recurve archery, it will be a little bit more complicated just because of the fact that in compound you have like the freedom to attend to a lot of competitions, because there's a lot more competitions for compound than for recurve, you know?
Yeah, super interesting what you said. I had never seen it this way, to be honest. Yeah, really, like compound archers, they have more freedom to do, you know, whatever they want to do in terms of training, planning, competitions, and for sure, Mike found his way. He found his formula to success, and maybe if he had to follow kind of a preset of an Olympic team, maybe it wouldn't be, you know, so easy for him. But you know this reality super well, and you've succeeded. You are an Olympic medalist. You and Steve Weiler got that silver medal at Tokyo 2020. And for many archers, including me, the Olympic medal is, you know, the ultimate achievement. And you already have that. So what are your dreams going forward? You know, what are your next goals? What do you want to achieve now that you already do have an all-coveted Olympic medal?
You know, this kind of funny, like when I was in Mexico, I was kind of like always working for it, always like, that was my dream, you know? And like, it didn't happen my first Olympics. We were kind of close as well. We got 5th in the team. And we were kind of like, my dream was still there, you know, like even though I didn't know if I was going to go to Tokyo because of all the changing teams and all the stuff, I was kind of like I still wanted to win a medal, you know. Kind of funny, like we won the medal, Steve and me, and like afterwards I didn't know what I wanted to do, or I didn't know how to train, or I didn't know what I did before that I needed to replicate to be in Paris and stuff like that. And it's kind of difficult. I feel like I've read a lot about like other athletes that also have trouble with that and stuff like that. And it's been kind of interesting. I feel like that gave me a lot of confidence, and that gave me a lot of will, you know, like I really want to like be in the next Olympics, or I really want to like win another medal and stuff like that. But how to do it, I still need to find the formula, you know. I feel like I still want to be in the sport. I still want to be like shooting. I also want to do other things in archery. I feel like someone that is kind of like really social. So I would like to be also a coach or work in another things as organizer or something like that. That would be cool.
Oh, it's just perfect what you've just said. I can relate to that, and this very podcast is part of that. Like I love shooting, but I also love doing so many other things related to archery. So the commentating and now this podcast. But very recently you did something that I thought was really fascinating. You were the announcer in Spanish at the Pan American Games in Chile, end of 2023. So how was that? Like, how did you find the experience, and how did your opportunity come by? You know, tell me a little bit about that.
Kind of funny, like I've had like I said before, and I keep repeating it, and maybe I need to forget a little bit about it. Like I didn't have the results I wanted this season, you know. Like last year my indoor season was like super good. I think that I podiumed like almost every single tournament I went to and stuff like that. So I had a lot of expectations for 2023, and it didn't go that well. So I was kind of like, when this season was over, I get a call from a friend of mine, Greg White. He's an announcer and he's commentating archer competitions and also MotoGP competitions, races. He calls me and he's like, hey, there's like this position in the Pan American Games. I'm the English announcer. Would you like to be the Spanish announcer? And I'm kind of like, is it because I'm your only friend that talks a lot and speaks Spanish? I was kind of like for example, I live in 3 languages, so for me it's kind of difficult to communicate sometimes. And I also felt like I don't know, like how would he think about me, or like why did he think about me, you know? So he was kind of like, look, this is like the contact of the person that is interviewing, get in contact with her and see what's up, you know? I think you're a really great fit for the position. And I had my interview, and when I finished the interview, it was like a video call as well. And I was kind of like, I'm not gonna get the part, you know, like I'm not good enough, you know. But I think that like I was like not really confident about myself because the whole season was really bad, that I thought like that not even talking I would like be good, you know. So I was kind of like, a couple weeks later, I was like on my phone and I got a mail. And it was kind of like, Gaby, you've been selected to be the announcer in Spanish and stuff like that. And I was like super excited. And I was like, so this year, I just finished my bachelor's like 3 weeks ago or something like that. So I need to go to Mexico. Gracias. I need to go to Mexico to do like an exam, and I need to like, so I did the Pan Am Games and the Pan Am Games. And like the Pan Am Games were when Lausanne was happening, like the World Cup in Lausanne was happening. So I was kind of like, I already said yes, and like I wanted to shoot that competition as well, but like maybe that's better for me to go there and do something archery related, but a little bit like less about shooting and more about like how I feel and new challenges and stuff like that. And then in the Pan Am Games where like it was my last exam, and I was kind of like, no, like what am I doing and stuff like that. So at the end, I didn't shoot Lausanne, and I didn't go to Mexico to do my last exam. But at the end, everything went good. But yeah, like it was like a super great experience. It was really funny because like I was like super nervous, you know, like sometimes you're gonna start your competition and your legs are shaking and you feel like super overwhelmed and stuff like that. I felt like 10 times worse when I needed to like read my first line at the Pan Am Games. I was so nervous. It was super funny. Like I was shaking and I was like, I don't know, it just felt like a new feeling, like a new way of feeling nervous. I don't know. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it, and I like to do it again. I don't think that like I'll stop shooting now to become an announcer, you know, but it's something that I would like to do like later on.
Super cool. I imagine you kind of like, please somebody give me a bow, a quiver, let me shoot, and bring somebody else to, speak with this microphone.
The first 2 days in the Pan Am Games were like super difficult because I felt like, I don't know, I was just like sitting there seeing the archers. Like I used to compete with all those archers when I would be, well, like I still see them. Like it was like Marcos Almeida, Alejandra Valencia, like my old teammates, Catalina Noriega, my best friend. So they were also shooting, and I'm normally used to being in the shooting field with them, you know. So the first 2 days I was kind of like, this is not it. I'm not enjoying it at all, you know. But then later on, when the archers would come to me and they would tell me like, dude, you're doing really good, like, is this your first time doing it? Like, I would have like a really funny way to say 10 when they were shooting, or when they would shoot at 10, I would like be really enthusiastic about how they were performing and stuff like that. And then people in the stands, they were also like repeating like the way I would say 10 and stuff like that. So it was really cool. Like I really enjoyed it.
And to me, it would be a little bit weird, but in a good way, to be at a competition and hearing your voice doing the announcing, kind of like, wait a moment. But funnily enough, I think you never competed at the Pan Am Games, have you?
No. I shot Pan Am Championships. I shot Central American Games, and but I never did Pan Am Games. So it was also my first time at the Pan Am Games, like doing something completely different. But like, yeah, like I never imagined it would be that way.
Oh, on the other hand, you had a great result at the European Games in 19, right? That's how you got the ticket to go to Tokyo.
Yeah, so in 2019, like I said, like it was super funny. Like I think it was like a week before the European Games, we had World Championships here in the Netherlands, and Chef van der Berg and we got second in the mixed team, and I was kind of like, oh, this is fun, you know? So a week later, we went to the European Games, and I qualified first, and then I was like super good in the matches and all this stuff. So we were hoping to get the tickets in the mixed team because we did really good a week earlier in the boss, and it didn't happen. So there was qualification, then the mixed team was like the next day, and then matches were the last 2 days or something like that. So we were expecting to win the tickets the first day of match play, you know, and it didn't happen, and I was kind of like, okay, what is, like, I need to find a way to get this ticket. To be honest, I tried to enjoy the competition, and I tried to, like, because of my situation that moment that I didn't have a Dutch passport and stuff like that, I was kind of just like, you know what, like, just try to enjoy the competition. If you get the ticket, it's fine. If you don't get the ticket, just do your best and enjoy, and maybe you're gonna win, whatever. I don't know how I thought at that point. And it happened, and I remember me knowing that, like, if I was shooting a match against a local, it was the European Games were in Belarus, and I was...
I forgot her surname, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember her surname either. But I was shooting against her, and then I was kind of like, if I win this one, I'm in, you know, because Italy already has had tickets, and 2 girls from Italy were in the finals, and it happened. Like, I won it, and like I knew it, and then like someone was interviewing me after that match, and they told me like, you know, you won a ticket for the games, right? And I started crying. Like, it was super funny because like I knew it, but I wasn't sure. So, yeah, it was interesting how it was.
First Dutch archer at the Olympics since Atlanta 96, right? Like a huge achievement. And then not only that, the first Dutch archer, a woman archer, to win a medal at the Games. Like, wow.
Yeah, I still get goosebumps, you know? Like, I feel like it's... like, I did it, and I'm like super proud of myself, but I'm also super proud of like all the changes, you know, like it was not only me adjusting to a new way of training, it was like also the staff, like for like the coaches, the federation, the archers, they also needed to adjust to me. Mike also needed to adjust to a new person in his life, and a new person in like living together with a new person and all that stuff. So it was like everything matched in the moment that needed to match, and it went good.
It did indeed. Must have been like huge relief. It's also caught my attention what you said, that like right before the Games, you and Chef had like this great result, silver medal at the World Championships in the Netherlands. And so you had expectations to get the team ticket at the Games, like via the mixed team, but then you didn't have a good result. So like this is so archery, right? Like it lifts you up, you're like on the clouds, and then all of a sudden you can be on the floor and thinking like, what's going on? And this is what I want to do now, because you're talking about this very good moment and everything. But before, earlier in the episode, you were also saying that in 2023, you know, you've struggled, the things haven't really worked out so well for you. But I want to go back to, forgive me if it's a little bit of, you know, not so pleasant memory, but the World Championships in Berlin. You, with the Dutch team, you were 4th place. in the beginning, you believed that you had the team quota for the games because France was, in the top 4. So there were three spots. And because France is the host, they already have the spot. So it was like, okay, the other 3 teams, they automatically get it. Like even in World Archery social media, in the socials, it said that, you had qualified. And then later that day, you find out that no, that it's all to play still, in the finals. And then in the end, sadly, the Dutch team was 4th. Like, how was that?
And we lost against Mexico. That was also interesting. Like, to be honest, like I don't think about like, oh, I'm shooting against Mexico or whatever. But now that I look at it, it's like kind of sad. Difficult. It was really funny though because me and my team. So I'm 29 years old. The Laura van der Winkel, she's like 21, 22. I don't remember 100%. And Quinty, the other archer, she's 18. So there's a lot of like age gap between them and me. And last year was like a little bit complicated. We worked really hard to make this teamwork and stuff like that. So when like in Berlin, were the World Championships in Berlin? Yeah, right?
Yeah, Berlin.
Back in July, when we were in Berlin, we obviously had the expectation and we knew that we needed to shoot good to be in the finals. But there's a lot of teams with a lot of experience, so we were kind of like, obviously we were dreaming about like being in the finals and all this stuff. But we knew that we were one of the underdogs, because we went to competitions and sometimes it went really good and sometimes it went really bad. So we didn't know what day we were gonna get that day, So we start first match, we shoot against Brazil, I think, and we win from them. Next match we go against Italy, and next match we go against, I don't remember, but like when we made it to the 4, we start crying because we made it to the 4, So we went to get arrows and we came back. And when we were really close to the shooting line, after we got back from getting our arrows, we saw our coach crying, and we were kind of like, what's happening? And we were kind of like looking around, and we saw that like there were a lot of cameras, and there was like, everyone was crying and everyone was like super happy and stuff like that. And we were like, what is this? I'm telling you, one step before we got to the shooting line, after we came back from getting our arrows, we were like, we made it to the games. We started yelling and we started like hugging each other and stuff like that. Then we saw that the Mexicans were getting interviewed. We saw the Germans were getting interviewed. We, like all the archers, were like super happy. We were hugging each other again as well, like with other teams and stuff like that. I go to Mike, I start crying. Like, this year hasn't been that good, so like making it to the Olympics was kind of like, wow, like something good after such a bad year, We give interviews as well. Like, they asked me like how I felt, because like when I arrived here it was kind of difficult. Like they didn't have a lot of girls, and now with this new generation there's a lot of girls that like are shooting really good and stuff like that. We go to eat and we like everyone is calling their parents and stuff like that. So I think it was like 12 in Berlin. But in Mexico, it was like 9 hours before 12, because it like the time zone and all that stuff. So I tried to call my mom, but my mom does not pick up. I tried to call my mom, she doesn't pick up. And I'm kind of like, okay. 6 hours later, I call my mom and I'm telling her like, we qualified to the games. I'm like super happy and stuff like that. And my best friend and her dad were in front of me and they were like, no, you guys didn't. And I was like, what? She was like, no, you guys didn't. And I'm like, Mom, I'll call you later because like I think that they are like playing with me or something like that, Mike, like a few minutes later, Mike comes around and he's like, you guys didn't qualify. And I'm like, what? Like, what is this? Like, what is happening, And then later that day, like I was kind of like still like, I didn't know if we actually qualified or we didn't, you know? So, because like World Archery told us that we qualified, but then later on, someone else told me we didn't. Later on that day, we had a meeting with our coaches in the afternoon, and they were like, you guys are gonna need to fight for the tickets this weekend because apparently doesn't matter if France is in the final or not, like top 3 is the one that gets the tickets. How do you think, like it was a lot of mixed feelings because like you are so tense and you are so, like when you're shooting you're so overwhelmed and you're like trying to be 100% focused and stuff like that, and then you think you achieve your goal and then you let everything go, you know, like you start crying, you start yelling, you start like letting all the tension out and all that stuff, and then later on you kind of get it back, just like boom, you know, like it's like kind of weird feeling. So in the finals, we were against the first match. We were against France, a really good team. The girls have been working together for some time. They have been working also with a new coach. You can see that their level is growing. And always when they go to World Cups or like European tournaments or like, doesn't matter where they go, they have a chance to get a medal. Germany, a team with like 2 Olympic medalists and like a girl that like was number 1 in the world last year. And then you get Mexico with 2 Olympic medalists and a girl that like also shot really good this year. And then you had our team, like I don't want to say we're bad, like no, we're really good. Like for example, me, like I think that I have the experience. Laura, she's also like really good shooting. And Quinty, she's really young, but like you can see that she's like making step and all this stuff. But like we never had the chance to be in the finals. And I mean, the stage in Berlin was huge. The stands were huge. We were shooting like almost in the entrance of the Olympic Stadium. We weren't that used to that. Like we weren't used to the big stage, and I think that cost us a little bit. And also like, yeah, we don't really have a lot of Olympic experience together or whatever. So I think it can be a little bit more difficult. It can be a little bit intimidating, and I think that happened to us. I think that probably the next competition is not gonna happen to us. But yeah, like it's steps that need to happen before you become like a more stable team and that foundation just becomes stronger and yeah, you get better results at some point, you know?
Yeah, I can only imagine the heartbreak of coming so close, believing you had, achieved this great thing, which is to qualify a team for the games. And then, okay, no, wait a moment. You didn't really make it. You have to fight for it. And then ending up in 4th place. But I'm sure, like, all we can do after such an experience is just draw learnings from it and just use it, as a stepping stone going forward. And I'm sure you girls are going to do it. I hope both of us are going to be in Paris.
Yeah.
I've got this in my mind, fingers crossed. And wow, so fascinating, everything you said. But I guess it's now time for us to go, into the next part of the show. This segment is Build the Perfect Archer. And I'm going to list some aspects of that each archer has. And you tell me who you think the best person you have ever seen, could be current or past, is on that specific aspect. And can be yourself.
Okay.
So no need to be humble. Okay. So, bow arm.
Bow arm. Steve Weiler.
Release.
Marcos de Almeida.
Okay. Mental toughness.
Mike Schloesser.
Indeed. Body balance.
Oi. Body balance.
Yeah, or stance.
Probably all the Koreans. I don't know. Kibobe.
Expansion.
Or Jinjek. Just because it's really special.
He is special indeed. Follow through.
I'm thinking. Gaby Schloesser.
Gaby Schloesser.
Yeah.
Dealing with the wind.
Oh, dealing with the wind. Keep over. Again.
All right. Next up, let's do an equipment rundown. So, I believe a lot of people listening, they want to know what the best archers in the world are shooting. And so, as of January 2024, what are your riser and limbs?
I'm like, I changed my bow yesterday, so Formula XZ with axial limbs, foam.
What size and nominal poundage of the limbs?
44 pounds, 68 inch, 25 inch riser.
String material, serving and twists?
I use 8190, 20 strands, and then as much twist as is needed.
And serving?
Serving, I use Halo.
Button, cushion plunger?
Beta.
Arrow rest?
Shibuya.
Sight?
True Axel.
Sight pin?
Shrewd. The one from Brady Ellison. Really, really good.
Stabilizers?
I'm currently shooting the Conquest 625, 27 inch. My extender is 3 inch, and then my side stabilizers are 12 inch.
Dampers on the stabilizers?
I use the Doinker ones. I don't know how they are called, to be honest. Doinker.
Just Doinker. Anything they make is good.
Yeah.
Arrow and spine?
I shoot extends 550s. I don't know what length.
Poundage on the fingers?
43 pounds.
And lastly, clicker.
Baiter. And then I use the aluminum one. You know that there's a black one and there's the other one. I use just the aluminum one.
Yeah, the regular silver one. Yeah, I do the same.
Yeah, like I feel like the black one. Have you ever shot the black one? Like I shot it some time. I shot for some time, and I preferred the aluminum one. Just a regular one.
And do you use the micro clicker? The micro clicker by Biter?
Is it the one that is like on the side?
No, you kind of mount it just underneath the side support, but it's a thing that you can move and adjust the clicker.
No.
Yeah, okay. I've just started using it. It's pretty cool. And the last segment of the show, I have some quick fire questions. And similar to what we were doing, short answers. So first one, after the name of the show, what is your most memorable shoot-off?
I think my most memorable shoot... Let me think about it. I think, I'm going to talk about the Olympics. I think that, we shot against France, and that time was, Lisa Babelain and Jean-Charles Valadon.
Tokyo 2020 mixed team.
Tokyo 20 mixed team. Tokyo 2020 mixed team. We shot against Lisa and Jean-Charles. And that was a place a shoot-off to get a place in semifinals. I was so nervous and I didn't feel. I was so nervous before I was gonna shoot my arrow, and then I shot my arrow and it went pretty good, and then we won, and then the rest is history.
A quick and very important mention here. What was the score of the shoot-off arrow? So Steve Weiler shot first. He shot a 10. Right after that, Francis turn. Lisa Babylon shoots an 8. So that means that a 9 would put France out of reach. And this is exactly what Gaby did. A very solid 9, not far from the 10. 4 o'clock, 9.7, let's say. So yeah, this is the all-important arrow that put Netherlands through to the semifinals. And then, went on to win silver.
You were shooting first or second?
I think we were shooting first. Or me, Gaby. I was shooting last.
So the responsibility of, wrapping it up.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, so in a mixed team, with Chef I would shoot first, and then with Steve I would shoot like second, and with Rick van der Ven I would shoot second. It's like super funny how the roles are really important now in the team, in the mixed team.
Yeah, this dynamic, like it's really important. Next one. If you have to focus on one single aspect of your shot, what would that be?
My grip and my shoulder, for me, is really important because I am someone that like easily moves the shoulder or like does not put it in a correct position. So I really think that my grip and my shoulder need to be stable to shoot the perfect shot.
You mean your bow shoulder?
I have my bow shoulder, yeah.
What's your favorite archery event in the world, current or past?
I think all indoor World Cups. I enjoy indoor a lot. Like when I was in Mexico, I would say Las Vegas. Las Vegas would be like my favorite event. It's like super big, super difficult to focus, but like really fun at the end. Like I really enjoy it a lot.
Sadly, I've never been to Vegas. I really want to go someday.
You should go. Like for me, when I was in Mexico, I didn't have the chance to shoot a lot of indoor tournaments, because it's always warm and it's always good weather to shoot outside and all the stuff. And once I got the chance, but we would go to Las Vegas. I grew up in Tijuana. Tijuana is like 5 hours from Las Vegas, like on the other side of the border. So we would go to Las Vegas and it would be like huge and fun. Like it's really cool. You should go. And now it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I believe I had a taste of that at the Lancaster Archery Classic. Like it was a really fun event, and I believe that Vegas must be that, to the nth degree.
Yeah. Like Lancaster and Las Vegas are so nice. Like I really like that they are also like 1 week from each other, so it's like super easy for us that we live in Europe. So we would go there to Lancaster, and then we would like train a couple days there or train a couple days in Las Vegas to wait for the next tournament. So it's super cool.
Now, your favorite bow of all time, the one that has a special place in your heart.
Exit, Hoyt Exit. Best bow ever made. Nah, I'm kidding. No, but like Exit is like it's like the bow that I won my Olympic medal with, and Steve also was shooting the Exit, so the Exit is really special for me, and I hope that it's also really special for him.
Fair enough. You've always shot Hoyt?
I shot win and win when I went to my first Olympics. I shot the win and win AXT. Super good bow as well. I to be honest, I shoot Hoyt because I feel like it fits me really good. It fits my style of shooting right now. I also like everything is amazing. Like all the bows are like super well made, and like I really like the stuff. Win and win is also pretty good. Like I haven't had the chance to shoot it, but like seeing you guys and seeing the scores that you're also shooting is also a really, really good bow. I see that in recurve ladies, like they're also doing really good. Even though the world champion shoots with a Hoyt. Nah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, if we start getting into this, win and win Hoyt rivalry, then we'll be
Yeah. No, like I feel like
both are great.
I feel like at this point both are really good. Like it doesn't matter which company you're shooting with. It's just what fits you better,
I think so too. And in your opinion, who's the best archer with the best technique you've ever seen?
Well, to be honest, like I trained a really long time with Korean coaches. So for us, when I was in Mexico, the ideal way of shooting would be like really Korean related. What can I say? Kim Woo-jin, just like everything is super, super good. Like also Kan Cha-yoon, like all the Koreans have really good techniques, but if I need to think about two persons that come to my mind right now, would be Kim Woo-jin and Kang.
Now, moving on from archery a little bit, your dream vacation destination?
Like I feel like I became like really, really Dutch right now, and Dutch people goes to Spain a lot. So I would say Spain, just everywhere in Spain where it's warm. I didn't like the beach before because in Mexico would be like really normal, but now I miss it. So everywhere where it's like warm and nice weather.
With the advantage that you can speak the language, so
Exacto. Yes.
A movie and or a book recommendation, can be archery related or not.
So I would say my favorite movie is like The Bucket List. I don't know if you had the chance to watch it before. It's like a really good movie, and I feel like if you want to cry a little bit and like see a really nice story, you should like watch The Bucket List. And books, to be honest, like I'm someone that buys a lot of books but doesn't really read a lot. So
They look so good on the shelf, don't they?
they do. But like I'm super bad reading, so yeah, don't ask me for a book recommendation.
No worries. Now, last one, a song and why.
A song. Well, like most of the stuff that I listen to is in Spanish because it's like my first language. So I would say just in general, Un Verano Sin Ti from Bad Bunny is like, the whole album is like super chill and super nice. So like listen to that. Put focus in the good things, not in the bad things.
Okay, I'll give a listen to that. Well, so we've come to the end of this episode. Gaby, really, thank you so much. It's been amazing. I really enjoyed it. I hope the listeners will enjoy as well. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, and I hope we get to do another one together. Like you said, like I said, like episode 100 is for me.
Episode 100 is definitely booked for you. Don't worry. Well, just wishing you success, on the road to Paris. Best of luck in the upcoming competitions and then the outdoor ones, and we'll see each other around and hopefully in the games.
Same to you. Like I wish you the best and like train hard for it. Like you got this.
We've got this. Feel free to reach out with any questions you'd like to have answered here on the show, or simply to share cool stories. Stay tuned on the Shoot Off Archery podcast socials for the next guest. You can find the Instagram, X, YouTube, and the email in the description. If you like the show, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. So from me, it's goodbye for now. I'll talk to you again in 2 weeks. And until then, keep on shooting strong. This is the Shoot Off Archery podcast. I'm Bernardo Oliveira. Thank you for listening.